This week we leave our home berth at Gosport's Haslar Marina for the last time. We sail to Beaulieu River in Hampshire and moor up at Buckler's Hard, a historic shipbuilding location. We walk to Beaulieu village and then spend a night on a mooring with the spectacular river views surrounding us. We've just slipped our lines at Haslar Marina, where we've been since we bought the boat about 5 years ago. It's a bit breezy today, but we think it will be fine. We're going with the wind, probably beat into the tide a little bit, and see where we get to. We're not going far, we're just having a bit of a shakedown sail, see how much stuff falls off of the surfaces below that we've forgotten to pack away because we've not been sailing for a while. And yeah, but it's a beautiful day, as you can see from the video. Jude's helming.
Excited to get going.
And yeah, we'll catch up with you later and show you what's happening. It's rougher than we thought it was going to be. As you can see, it doesn't look rough. It never will on camera, but the Solent doesn't look rough even when it is. It's just a short, sharp chop. We knew this was going to happen. The wind is going that way, the tide is going that way, both quite strongly. So right now we're doing...
Bloody person.
Yeah. So right now we're doing 6 knots in that direction. It was 6.7 a minute ago. That's because we've got a couple of knots of tide with us. It's the biggest spring of the year today, which is not unusual. Happens every year that you get the biggest spring. And the wind is going that way. We were going to go to Chichester Harbour, but that turned into wind over tide, and it was just uncomfortable to do it. This being our first day of the trip, we're tired, we didn't want uncomfortable, and we're lazy, and we've been to Chichester Harbour lots and lots of times. So we turned around. As ever with sailing, it was dead on the nose, so we just decided to motor, being lazy today, just to get somewhere that's not our home marina. We don't have a home marina anymore. And we'll tie up later, and hopefully it will be calmed down a bit for the evening, and we'll make some plans for the next leg. We're just arriving now into Beaulieu River. So we were originally going to go to Chichester, I think I said earlier, and we diverted just because of weather. It was more comfortable, and Beaulieu is just a lovely place to be. We're still looking at what the weather is going to be tomorrow. Sorry if there's wind noise there. And we're trying to decide now whether we want to carry on tomorrow or if we want to spend a day in Beaulieu, because it's a very pleasant place to be, but the potential for weather means we might be stuck here for a week, and there's not enough to do for a week in Beaulieu. It's a very small sort of village in the middle of the woods, actually planted for wood for the Navy originally. The king ordered a bunch of trees to be planted, and by the time they grew, shipping had moved on and it was moving to different construction anyway, so the forest remained, and it's just a beautiful place to be now out in the countryside. So we're going to tie up, and then we'll see what we're doing for the evening.
Yesterday we arrived at Beaulieu. We went into the marina and stayed one night on the pontoon. This morning we ended up moving to a mooring buoy, as we love the swinging between the nature. I'm sure you'll see some of those clips of that later. And then now we've just come to land and we are on a bit of a walk to Beaulieu. Well, to the main part of Beaulieu. So we're actually at Buckler's Hard, which has the Beaulieu marina in it, and we're now going to Beaulieu village, and you'll see some of that shortly. We walked from Buckler's Hard to Beaulieu village and stopped for some lunch. The walk was just less than 5-mile round trip and was about an hour and 45 minutes walking. On the way we saw some donkeys and birds. Once we arrived at Beaulieu, we walked up the high street and then we went round to Mill Pond at the head of the river, and we saw some wild ponies the New Forest is famous for. The New Forest has about 5,000 ponies freely roaming, and they're owned by the New Forest commoners. They're all over the forest, so if you go for a visit you're unlikely to miss them. Beaulieu village is one of the New Forest's smallest but busiest villages. It is little more than a single street of red brick houses and some tiny boutiques and village shops, and a hotel and pub. It is also famous for the National Motor Museum, Palace House and Beaulieu Abbey, but we did not have a tough time to visit these.
Shipbuilding started at Buckler's Hard in the early 18th century. James Wyatt, a local entrepreneur, started the shipyard and won a contract to build the Royal Navy ship HMS Surprise in 1744, and then another, HMS Scorpion, at Buckler's Hard. Henry Adams, a master shipwright, was sent to Buckler's Hard by the Admiralty to oversee the building of these ships. Over the following 60 years, Henry Adams supervised the building of 43 Navy ships at Buckler's Hard, including 3 that fought at the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805, HMS Euryalus, HMS Swiftsure and HMS Agamemnon. Shipbuilding at Buckler's Hard declined in the 19th century, but during World War II the village was used to build motor torpedo boats, and the river was a base for hundreds of landing craft for the Normandy invasion, Operation Overlord. Today you can still see the areas where the boats were launched and built, and there's a museum that explains all of the techniques that were used and the boats that they built. Thanks very much for watching. We really hope you enjoyed the video and coming along on our adventure with us. The editing isn't quite where we want it to be yet, so please bear with us while we improve that aspect of the videos. Hopefully that will improve over the coming weeks as we travel further to the southwest. See you next time.